So speaking of Oregon going to the Big Ten, so they're going to be officially joining the Big Ten on July 1st. And we're going to be seeing some huge games like Oregon, Ohio State. And, some people have talked about it being this upcoming huge rivalry, but I'm not so sure because it's like, I kind of feel like they're trying to make it like how Ohio State people talked about being a rivalry and all that. But Oregon's got rivals, Washington and Oregon. But that's just me now. What are the pros and cons of Oregon going to the Big Ten?
Yeah, there's a lot of pros, that's for sure. I don't really see too many cons just because you're getting away from a dying conference that just had incompetent leadership at the top. You're making sure that you have a seat at the table with the big boys, with the biggest names in the sport. I think if anything, that the cons that I think of, Jackson, are just the traditionalists, the people who loved the Pac-12 of old and like all the tradition that came with a lot of these rivalries that are maybe going to be a bit harder to maintain now, namely Oregon State, obviously, and Oregon, but they're doing what they can to keep that one going. So I think some of the other cons maybe have to do with some of the travel for the other sports. I think that's going to be something that a lot of people don't talk about too much. But for football, it's so easy because you only have to play one game a week and it's on the weekend. So I don't think it's that big of a hurdle to navigate for the football programs. But the other programs, I think that play multiple games a week, especially I'm talking basketball, baseball, softball. Those ones are going to be difficult for sure. But from the pro standpoint, the list is extensive. I talked about having a seat at the table. I think that's huge. You're going to continue to be in one of the Power Two conferences. I guess it's technically Power Four now, but we all know that it's the SEC and the Big Ten. Those are the two dominant conferences of college football today. They have the most talent, the most eyes on them, the most money. That's super important. And then you're going to have some amazing games on your schedule. I think that's something that is really exciting as well. And it only helps Oregon from a recruiting standpoint because you're going to be playing those big time games with that national spotlight on you almost every week. So I think that the pros are extensive, not too many cons, but definitely a little bit more of a bittersweet moment the more that I've thought about it and let it resonate with me, Jackson.
Imagine time traveling in 2011. You tell somebody Oregon, Maryland's going to be a Big Ten conference.
That'd be crazy. I wasn't even in high school yet. So I would be like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, because I mean, kids back then are just sitting there thinking about Minecraft or Roblox or PS3. They're not sitting there thinking about, will Oregon, Maryland be a conference game? Will Rutgers, Michigan be a conference?
Yeah, no, they're not thinking about that. I grew up going to Stanford games, and now they're going to the ACC. So, God, talk about a whole travel hurdle with that school. My God, them and Cal. So it's a weird time we're living in. I'm just honestly, I'm just glad I cover Oregon. I'm very fortunate in that regard.
Oh man, yeah, because I mean, Stanford, Syracuse on ACC Network. That's I don't know what to say about that one.
Yeah, I mean they've both had good runs. I think that I can remember at least Stanford being more quality for most of my life, but I feel like there were a couple of years there not too long ago where Syracuse really kind of gave these top ACC teams all they can handle. Like I'm sure they might have beaten Clemson a couple times, but they like when they had Dino Babers, they were really gritty. But I'm excited to see what Fran Brown can do coming over from Georgia. I feel like he's got some recruiting juice over there in the state of New York with the Orange. So never really know. You got to watch it. That's what makes college football so fun.
Well, on the bright side, Syracuse isn't going to forget how to play football after they play Clemson. Ram Brown. But
Definitely not.